And we are live. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to the Gentleman of Crypto, episode 816. Today is Thursday, October 14, 2021, and I'm King, here to bridge the gap between the community and crypto every day, Monday through Friday at 10ish. Today is definitely one of those 10ish days. I was scouring the news, or scouring the web for the news articles. Wasn't really finding a lot today, but G7 leaders issue central bank digital currency guidelines. Almost 1.1 million people have already signed up for Coinbase NFT waitlist. New tickers and ARK filing shows Bitcoin futures ETF approval imminent, says analysts, and DeFi pushes North America to world's second biggest crypto market, believe it or not. So all the talk about China taking over has immediately died down within the last month. Kind of crazy how that works. But first and foremost, of course, let's go ahead and check out these prices. Bitcoin's at 57,572, up 5%. If you saw it yesterday, it hit 58,000, some change. So it's definitely pumping. Ethereum's pumping, $3,800, up 10.96%. Binance Coin BNB at number 3 at $475, up 5%. Cardano had a nice little 5% pump. Hey, that thing's been dead, right? Listen, that's how it works. It's slowly sliding down. But Cardano's at $2.21, up 4.89%. Of course, we have Solana at $154.88, up 6.84%. Polkadot at $40.55, up 17%, as the news is being hit that Polkadot might have some more squeeze in it this week with a lot of news that they have. And number 10, Dogecoin at 23 cents, up 6.68%. So by and large, as markets do, they follow Bitcoin. Bitcoin's up 5% and some change. And it looks like everyone else is up anywhere between 5 to 10% by and large. So pretty good to see the markets healthy today. Green, know everybody loves seeing that as well. So some quick shout outs before we get going. Satoshi Slim, what's going on? Wendy Nichols, Michael Kennedy, Finn, Sergeant Mack, Timothy Grigsby, Chappie, Frederick, Eric Horton, Saber Sage, JB, J. Dean, Ken, Hip to the Dip, DM Carr, Peter, yes, pay that like text, BK Born, Bed-Stuy Rays, Ali Pio, Credit K, Power of 945, Bitcoin ETF based on futures is not helpful to the price. Oh, we're going to be talking about it today. You already know it. Did I see Gene Simmons bought 300K of ADA at the start of the year? Yeah, we actually covered that on this show a while back. Whenever he actually did that, we talked about that a while back. Credit K, these are the stories I like hearing. Doc paid my mortgage this week. Woof. Looks like somebody aped into that project. That's what I'm talking about, though. So let's talk about the top story of the day. We're talking G7 leaders first. G7 leaders issue central bank digital currency guidelines. When you start seeing guidelines, it is official. We've been saying this writing is on the wall since 2018 when we first saw the initial story. I think it was on Cointelegraph where they mentioned central bank digital currencies. CBDCs essentially, and we said, oh, this is going to be the future. They mentioned it 10 times in one article, and we never seen the word before the day of that. But it looks like, again, it is becoming more of a reality. It's getting closer. Financial leaders from the G7 agree that CBDCs would complement cash and should not be detrimental to the monetary system. So they're finally on the same page. A group of 7 advanced economic nations has been discussing central bank digital currencies this week, including that they should do no harm and meet rigorous standards. On October 13th, finance leaders from the G7 met in Washington to discuss the central bank digital currencies and endorse 13 public policy principles regarding the implementation. The G7, which comprises Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the UK, and the US, mandated that any newly launched CBDCs should do no harm to the central bank's ability to maintain financial stability. In a joint statement, G7 finance ministers and central bankers said strong international coordination and cooperation on these issues helps to ensure that public and private sector innovation will deliver domestic and cross-border benefits while being safe for users and the wider financial system. So they're saying that not only could it complement cash, but it could act like a liquid, safe settlement assets in addition to anchoring existing payment systems. By and large, what you need to know, CBDCs are coming. We already know about this. And honestly, the only thing that's different about a CBDC and what we see in the crypto space is who owns and controls it. That is it. Stable coins right now are being essentially centralized, ran, and controlled by private companies. And instead of having just stable coins, the government and banks around the world want CBDCs. All CBDCs are stable coins, except they're being ran by the government. And I guess you can still say private companies, but private companies working with the government versus just a private company out there, Tether, Gemini USD, right? Just whatever stable coin. Instead, they want that CBC to be a Bank of America coin, a Fed coin, a US dollar coin, right? So what I took from this article, though, is that it's coming. It is coming. It's on the horizon. I think this is really good news. I think this is a bullish sentiment because we still call these base hits. Even if you use CBDCs, you force the entire world onto CBDCs. They are now fully in a digital landscape. And to me, it's only so long they can go using a CBDC before they find out about a stable coin and staking, before they find out about yield farming, before they find out about Bitcoin and so on and so forth. So I don't think this will be the future of how we use our money in banks, CBDCs. I think it will be like the internet. I think they will have their time in the sun for about 2 to 3 years as they try to force it down our throat. And it'll kind of be up to the people to see if we respond to the government forcing these things down on us, like saying, okay, we'll just do it, which may be the case because I've seen how the vaccine force is going. So if you can do that same type of push you're doing with the vaccine with CBDCs, then everyone will be using it in a couple of years. But if people push back and say, no, I want to use my Bitcoin, then maybe it'll slow down. But by and large, I don't think it'll just last on because there's no reason for it. But if banks continue to last, if banks continue to work with governments and vice versa, then there will almost always be a place for CBDCs. And it looks like they're waving that flag, letting people know that they're here to stay. Let's see. Chappie said there will be 2 different classes of CBDCs. The general public will use one that's easily tracked, while the higher ups will use one that is private. You know what? I am with you. I actually believe that truly as well. It'll be like a way to add in a tax to people. It's like, yeah, you can use this basic CBDC or CBDC. It doesn't have any privacy features, like you said. Anybody on the planet can track it. Banks, governments, blah, 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 blah. Let's say the tax on this CBDC is at 3% or 5% or whatever. Or you can use this new one we have. Super secure, it's private. No one sees your transactions. Of course, unless you're the government. And this one is like another, is an 8% fee to use this one. I'm with you, Chappie. I can see 2 different CBDCs. I mean, again, I can see that market just, if CBDCs actually work and you can get a large percent of the population to use them, I can see them creating derivatives on derivatives in the CBDC market without even needing to go over to the Bitcoin market. And then the money they're making off the derivatives, they actually buy Bitcoin with on the balance sheet. So that's something as well. Because you imagine if someone said, yeah, you got this Bank of America CBDC future ETF. Like, people will buy it. People would buy it, I am telling you. So I'm with you as well. Ross shoots at capitulation on the horizon. Let's see, Lawrence Sanders, does that mean we may have to avoid using USDT and USD with the implementation of CBDCs? Not yet. I think they'll let us, like, they will fully let us know in the most direct manner when CBDCs are launched. It won't be a secret. It will be these other coins and projects are illegal. This is the only CBDC we're recognizing, and this is the one that we're taxing. If you don't use this one, it'll be illegal. So I don't see that happening. I see it kind of going toward that direction. Power of 9. I'm assuming you're talking about Isaiah. I'm King, but they say, because I'm wearing this, this is his sweatshirt, or his, he created these sweatshirts. So just showing support, but they said rename his book, Bitcoin in Central America Financial Freedom. How many more countries will use Bitcoin as legal tender this year and create their own stable coin as local currency? Right. I think the stable coin for most countries that are building on financial freedom, that will come after Bitcoin. Like we saw Salvador adopt Bitcoin first. I think that will happen in the developing world, as well as some of the smaller countries. They're going to go with Bitcoin first because of the infrastructure needed for a CBDC and, of course, a central bank. The banks are going to create a CBDCs to try to create whatever funny money value that they've created in their system. So that will more or less be around those G7 countries you mentioned. And then, of course, a trickle-down effect from where central banks are located. They'll tap those countries on the shoulder as well and say, hey, you all need to adopt this as well. And then from there, we might see smaller countries use it, but not ahead of time. I think smaller countries ahead of time are going to be using their Bitcoin right now. PFC Will said the British YouTuber guy just did a video breaking down the whole thing. The devil is in the detail, folks. Okay, so make sure we check that out as well. Fearless Jones said central banks won't need banks if they have CBDCs. Right now, central banks have to take a knee to the bank. So I'm assuming you're talking about local branches and those banks and how they interact with like the Bank of International Settlements and larger centralized banks. I get what you're saying. I agree. I mean, we keep saying like all these banking buildings, there are going to be a bunch of empty buildings in America. There's going to be a lot of land for sale from these buildings, a lot of concrete in the next like 3 to 5 years. There's no reason for some of these large banks and a lot of these cities. I mean, take no look further than Los Angeles. Like we are shutting down banks. It's so many empty buildings for banks. Like people aren't doing a tally on it yet. I'm telling you, it is about to turn into how it was in Detroit, a bunch of random empty buildings, decrepit buildings and stuff. No one's living in them. No one's in them anymore. Like I can see that happening in Los Angeles with some of these banking buildings right now, because there are a ton of huge banks that are empty inside. So of course, that's G7 and those CBDCs. This is pretty interesting. I didn't expect to see this already. Almost 1.1 million people have already signed up for the Coinbase NFT waitlist. Now, I'm assuming it's from the people who are already on the Coinbase platform, where it's just like they get an email, are you interested? Click yes, boom, you signed up. But still, it's pretty cool to see these type of numbers in this interest in the NFT marketplace. Sanchez Saxena, we talked about them yesterday, the vice president of product at Coinbase, said yesterday that the insane amount of traffic from signing up to the waitlist temporarily broke the site. This is the problem where it's like Coinbase is the biggest site. You're still going down. That's what we're doing. That's the story we're using. For one, this whole temporarily breaking the site, it seems like an exploit to me. So you're telling me we DDoS Coinbase. That's how you make the site go down. And now you may have a way to these wallets. Is that what's going on, Coinbase? What are you telling us here? Like, I know they're trying to make it sound cool about this insane amount of traffic, but if you're a custodian for billions of dollars of Bitcoin, you don't want to say anything broke the site. Like that's not a good thing. And this is Coinbase. This is hilarious. This is Coinbase themselves telling you they're not prepped for who they are right now. They just told you signups for an NFT platform that they don't have broke their website, where they use it to as a front-facing window for customers who store their crypto with them. That would be a scary thing to me, but that's what's crazy about this market. People aren't even seeing that as being an issue. They're like, oh, Coinbase went down because everybody was signing up. Ha, ha, ha. It's like, okay, so if a hacker uses that as a way to attack Coinbase as an attack vector, that's something that's serious. But hey, Coinbase opened up the waitlist via a blog post announcing its upcoming NFT platform, which is slated to launch later this year. It's dubbed Coinbase NFT, which will initially support ERC 721 and ERC 1155 token standards, with plans to expand to support other blockchains in the future. They're saying right now already 1.1 million people signed up. And as you can see from this tweet, thanks for your patience, everybody. For the last few hours, we have ramped up and scaled things for you to be able to sign up for the NFT marketplace. And then, of course, see you there. Now, being serious, this isn't a big issue. Like a lot of projects, once they launch, they have issues as far as scaling the network traffic on their website. But again, when you're talking about Coinbase, $100 billion valuation, direct listing, like I would expect them to have the resources to fix these type of things and to not allow them to happen. Especially when they say they got the simple math. You said, I think they said they had 60 million or something users or whatever, 66. Now I already said a lot of that's repeat wallets. Let's just say they have 60 million users. If you're launching a new NFT marketplace, you're expecting at least 3% of those people to convert over immediately just to sign up. So you do the math, what's 3% of 60 million? They should have expected this, right? Like, and if they didn't expect this, this is the reason why we say get off Coinbase. Like they weren't even ready to scale a volume launch on their website, but you trust them holding your money. To me, that is seriously dangerous. But again, this is big news because Coinbase is like I would say almost like the Facebook in the Bitcoin space right now, as far as where a lot of people have already been, they go to, right? They have a lot of resources, like 68 million verified users. There we go, and 8.8 million monthly active users. I don't understand how their website went down with all that. But with Coinbase NFTs, the thing that will be interesting to see with the community they've already built and the platform that they have is, will their platform rival the ones like OpenSea? How will it work with OpenSea and Rarible? Will it work with them? Will it be just a competitor to them? This is what we mean by the NFT marketplace, and who's going to be king at the end of the day. Who's going to hold the crown at the end of the day? It's still up for grabs. I think we'll still continue to see new marketplaces pop up. I would expect actually a traditional company to do an NFT marketplace. That whole blockchain stimulus package we had back in 2017, whereas it's like Long Island Iced Tea is like, oh, we're doing blockchain now, and their stock goes up. I think Blockbuster tried to come back and do something with blockchain. Their stock goes up. Of course, Kodak did something with blockchain. The stock goes up. I think we can see that with NFTs. I think there's a strong possibility that we can see traditional companies, say Target, say we're doing, Target now has an NFT platform on the website, right? Like Walmart has an NFT platform. I can actually see that happen. Wait until the first big company that's trying to figure out a way to boost their stock performance for that quarter, say, hey, what if we just say we're creating an NFT platform? You remember, you don't even need to create it in this market. Just say you're going to create an NFT market in 8 months. Be a bank. Say it like literally, like, and that's where they're missing out on these opportunities. This was frustrating me. Like the government, where they're talking about taxing everybody in the crypto space. It's like, this is where you're missing out on the opportunity. The United States said right now, hey, we were launching a United States NFT platform Q2 of 2022. By March, April, we'll have it up and running. Are you kidding me? Like, you don't need to tax citizens any longer. You know how many people will sign up for that thing? Overnight, I think you get 5 or 10 million people signing up for a United States NFT platform. Like, so I can see companies doing the same thing. If your company's struggling, balance sheets haven't been where they need to be, you're trying to look for new ways to spark things you already have, new sales. Say you're gonna do an NFT platform in 8 months. Get that traction going, throw some marketing behind it. Now everybody's paying attention to your company as this new technological forward-thinking company that plans to launch an NFT. What's gonna happen in 8 months? Oh, got delayed. You know the business. It gets delayed, but you still have those customers and that volume there looking at the products you already have, which of course with a 3% ROI, you should make some sales. So again, I would not be surprised to see a company actually do that. But this is crazy seeing this tweet. Nathan Kruk tweeted, Coinbase's NFT waitlist is already larger than OpenSea's wallets. Probably something. So I'm saying the same thing. OpenSea, one of the largest NFT platforms out there, with Coinbase already, their waitlist already being larger than that actual platform, is something to think about. But also, I will say the NFT holders and the people who have been on OpenSea, these are the people who are like, to me, they're technologists. Like, they want to do this. They're interested in technology. They're interested in the investment side of it. But there's like right now, OpenSea is still so new, and so many people don't know about it. If you're actually on that platform, that's saying a lot about you and where you're at when it comes to adopting technology. I say that because whereas Coinbase, a lot of those people are just on there for investments. I don't know if having that 1.1 million signups will equate with the same bang for your buck as you will see on OpenSea. So I will say that. I think a lot of people on OpenSea probably also sign up for Coinbase because those in the NFT space are diversifying the platforms they're on. So it's like, hey, this is a new platform where I can get a cheap NFT and resell it at a higher rate to some noobs or just somebody who really love it. Then why not? I think Coinbase will provide an opportunity for that, where if they start doing drops on Coinbase, if you have one of those old accounts or whatever, and you have speed on your account, you can just log on, get some NFTs and flip them that same day to like I said, to noobs on the website or to people who came late to the party. I think it'll be a big thing, and Coinbase might be a big marketplace for them. They may have found their niche with the NFT thing. We'll check. We'll see soon, though, I'm sure. Let's see. Geechee Sultan's shaking his head. Coinbase NFTs. Michael Kenny, I really want to retire as a photographer. And NFTs sound like a great way to get my work out there. Yes, a lot of people have been using their artwork in NFTs. Too much for you, okay. The post office needs to create stamp NFTs for collectors to raise money, for sure on that one as well. And here, let me bring up something so I won't forget. Let's see. Greetings, L. Dabnum L. What's going on? Our project experience said, or Target, Walmart, or Starbucks can tie discounts or a tangible product to an NFT. For example, have an NFT mug, and when you present that mug, you get 10% off some coffee. That's pretty cool. Yes. Ashley K said, I was thinking about that during yesterday's show, how crypto gains could cover the world debt. Listen, that's just crazy. If we wanted to actually get out of debt and not have citizens paying taxes, like we could do this type of stuff, but we don't want to. Like, that's the thing we have to remember. There's like 10 or 15 people in charge over here in North America. Some of them aren't even in political positions. They just got a bunch of money. They're behind the scenes, but they don't want you to make money and not pay tax. Like, they do not want you to get a leg up, because that means you will be competition one day. And who wants that, right? Let's see. Rashu said US NFT comes out. Next thing you know, they ban all photos of bald eagles. Hilarious, but true. A US government NFT would be like, hey, taking pictures of that sky? No, that's our sky. We already NFT that shit. Stop taking pictures of skies and mountains and animals. All right, we already NFT'd every animal out there. Let's see. Power of Nine said the US government is not so smart. Look at Miami coin. Why not do this for every city to raise money? Taxes are so old school. And like I said, it just goes back to the point of they don't want you to have money. If you like our country, you got to, like, people forget. People forget. I love to remind people, like Australia, our country was built on the backs of criminals. Let's call it was built on terrorists, people. Listen, the way I read and remember the story, there was one country, the UK, had a bunch of money and resources. They said, hey, some of the people who were in the UK were you military people or you explorers, go explore some new land and bring us back some valuable stuff. To me, it sounds like you're still part of the UK. These people get to this new land and they say, hey, this new land is cool. Oh, we got these two big oceans. Hey, life is good here. Why are we still paying these people way back over there, right? Gang, we up out of here. That old country said, hey, we're going to fight y'all about it. They came over here to fight and they lost, because it's very difficult to actually fight in America. I mean, just across those oceans and develop a supply chain logistically is very difficult. So they took an L, and then people still here say, hey, we're a new country. This is where we're doing business. Like, that's the way I remember the story. That's all I'm saying. So with that being said, I mean, United States, they're not going to all of a sudden say, hey, let's help our citizens. Like, no, we're not built off of, hey, let's help our citizens. We're capitalists. We're built off of, hey, I see a way to get an edge of this opportunity and create a win-lose situation for myself. Unfortunately, that's how so many Americans think. But yeah, let's not act like our country was started off with giving and helping and building with each other and making sure all the poor have food. Like, hell no, people. Like, this is probably, and this says a lot too, this is probably the best time in America since America has been started. Like, right, like today. Like Thursday, October 14th of 2021 is probably the best time in America since America's been started. So as far as why won't they do stuff like Miami coin? Why won't they do this? Why won't they do this? Like, yes, I've mentioned many solutions on this show throughout the years to where we don't have to be taxed. We don't have to have regulatory pressure. The government doesn't need to go crazy on us. Like, it's a win-win for citizens and for the country, like government and everything. But they're choosing not to do that because they've never seen a world where everyone's equal. Like, the government hasn't seen a world where everyone's a multimillionaire, billionaire, or at least more than the average. And you can't just tell everyone what to do, where people could say, no, I think I'll just move if you're going to force me to do this. Like, I'll just take my private plane, I'll go to my island. Like, we haven't seen that, and it scares our regulators for whatever reason. Maybe because they know how terrible people are. Like, that's the crazy. We all know how terrible each other are. So it scares them. Let's see. Jarvis Hodges is talking about Americans, the original Americans. He said they ran off on the plug. Thank you. Call it what it is. The original Americans ran off on the plug. Hey, y'all owe us this money because we sent you there. You living good, and we're going to keep taxing you. It sounds like what America's doing to the citizens. Right? Wait, did America fight the UK over taxes, and now we're getting taxed? So anyway, listen. They're not going to be doing anything to help us. All right, that's what that was. That whole rant was about right there. They're not going to do anything to help us. New tickers and ARK filing shows Bitcoin futures ETF approval is imminent, says analysts. Kind of what I said. If this ETF thing gets passed, it's an inside job, people. But according to Bloomberg senior ETF analyst ARK Valkyrie, there are good signs that the SEC will approve Bitcoin futures ETF applications from ARK Invest and Valkyrie. Again, If I don't see Gemini on here, it's corrupt. ARK, we already know ARK ain't good with everybody. Kathy, you know what's up. No offense. Kathy's doing a great job over there at ARK Invest. But she knows everybody. She knows all the regulators. And Valkyrie, same thing. So it's one of those things where there has been many projects and companies trying to get ETFs for a very long time now that have been ignored and denied. And now that this Bloomberg senior analyst, this is like a second or third article talking about this. Again, 3 is a trend. It looks like an ETF may be coming sooner rather than later. But again, they're saying there are good signs that Bitcoin ETF will be improved. And the reason why they're saying that ARK and Valkyrie actually updated their ticker signs. They said, why else would they do a ticker sign if it isn't about to be approved? Kathy Wood's ARK Investment Management LLC filed for a Bitcoin futures ETF under the ARKA ticker, while Valkyrie has assigned its Bitcoin future prospectus with the BTF ticker. So what I will say is that I haven't seen any other projects update anything or even talk about tickers. So this is new news to actually pay attention to. Could it be hype? Possibly. We always see that Amazon's going to be adding this token to their, they're going to set Bitcoin. They're going to add this token. This project is going to do this. Google's going to do this. We've always seen the rumors. But according to Bloomberg analyst ARK Valkyrie, firms typically update their proposals when they have everything set and ready for launch, suggesting that Valkyrie may soon be given the green light by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. He also pointed out that ARK on October 13th, the partnership with 21 Shares and White Alpha Architect white label, noting that the ARKA ticker was another good sign that the SEC was set to give it a tick, I'm assuming pun intended. So again, here's the tweet from Eric. Great findings. Like I said, I haven't heard of this happening with any other ETFs trying to get pushed forward. So the question remains, as I put in the title, will this improve or lower the price of Bitcoin? I guess when you're talking about from a USD perspective, like, will this increase the price of Bitcoin? Will Bitcoin become more popular, or will this make Bitcoin fall further away into oblivion? And the reason why I said that is because once you get these ETFs, people, it is on and popping. The derivatives game is starting. And what they want to do and what will be done is that, let's give it 5 to 7 years, Bitcoin is going to be buried so deep. And I mean uppercase Bitcoin and lowercase, the network and the denomination. The network itself, like I said, it's going to be running in the background. It's already kind of starting to happen with some of these partnerships with Visa and all these different things people are doing. Literally with BitPay, like Bitcoin blockchain runs in the background. You can accept crypto. You can get your money back in crypto or cash. You can get a percentage of both. You can get a percentage back in different coins. I can't remember the one we used to use. It still works. It's pretty good. Maybe coin payments. I don't want to give you the wrong one, but maybe coin payments. But they had like 100 different tokens you can receive your payment. I remember we used to have our Discord channel. People was paying us in all types of tokens and coins, and we literally could accept them all. So I do think the infrastructure is already being built to where the Bitcoin network will be in the background. And then eventually they want Bitcoin to be in the background too, as far as they do not want normal people buying and selling Bitcoin, period. Just like gold, large amounts of gold, normal people aren't buying and selling large amounts of gold. You might be able to get your hands on a chain or something, or be in some stock, or say you got pounds of gold somewhere, but by and large, the average person can't do it. You have to go through a broker, third party, or whatever. So they want Bitcoin to be so hard and so far and so many steps to buy that you just say, hey, it's smarter and easier for me to get this ETF. It's smarter and easier for me to get this derivative. And let's not go crazy. What if they actually do use Bitcoin Reserve and say the US dollar, I can't even say this with a straight face, the US dollar is backed by Bitcoin, right? 1-to-1. What do they use as a reserve? And then one day just be like, yeah, hey, fuck all that. We ain't using Bitcoin as a reserve no more. We still got it, but the dollar's a dollar. Like, essentially doing the same thing we saw the Gold Standard. So I don't know. I'm looking at Satoshi Slim saying, I think it'll take a quick dip, then Bitcoin business as usual. I'm with you. I think a Bitcoin ETF. And here's the thing. I almost feel like a dip, but the reason why I'm against it is because at the end of the day, the brokers, the banks, they still have to buy Bitcoin to back the ETF, right? They're supposed to. Everyone won't do it. I mean, there will be plenty of companies that say, yeah, we got Bitcoin ETFs. People will give them the money. They give them the IOU slip. You ain't got no Bitcoin. And then you won't find out until 10 years from now when that company goes under. and everybody's money is lost. And the government's like, oh, well, you can't bail you out this time. You want to do Bitcoin, right? But yeah, I think we might get a dip, but it might actually explode too, because if the Bitcoin ETFs are as popular as people think, and essentially this was going to happen to make it popular, the ETF is going to get built. People like ARK, their marketing department, their sales department is going to start hitting the phone line up for Franklin Templeton, financial advisors, all those good folks. Hey, you need to be pushing this Bitcoin ETF down their throat. Like, this is what we're doing now. And then all of a sudden, in another year or two, financial advisors are going to be the smart people on the planet. And oh, let me tell you about this Bitcoin ETF. Oh, you haven't got exposure to Bitcoin? Oh my God. How do you not know about Bitcoin yet? When you need to be asking them, if they're a financial advisor, why are they still working if they already knew about Bitcoin? Let's see. Jarvis Hodges said, trust the full moons, LOL, hilarious. But yeah, that's the ETF. We'll continue to monitor that and see what happens. And last but not least, story of the day, DeFi pushes North America the world's second biggest crypto market. I just wanted to talk about this story to show you how much this really did not matter. I mean, listen, I know a lot of Bitcoin. Of course, the majority has been mined. We're like 18 million some change. Only will be 21 million by the year 2140. However, just because someone's mining all the Bitcoin and crypto doesn't mean that the market's the largest. Like, I can't wait to kind of dig into the story really quick, but I want to point this out because just like 3 or 4 weeks ago, we were talking about how China owns all the Bitcoin, how they're the largest market and da. And literally 3 weeks later after they banned it, we're like, well, the US got it now. Like, it isn't that simple. I wish it was that simple, but it just isn't that simple. Growth in the decentralized finance, DeFi, has driven North America to the world's second biggest, largest crypto market, now researched by crypto intelligence firm Chainalysis said. North American addresses received $750 billion in crypto between July 2020 and July 21, or 18.4% of global transactions. Central, Northern, and Western Europe received $1 trillion in that time period, accounting for 25% of global value. Now, this way that they do this volume, I do appreciate it like this. It's pretty cool to see. Again, they have charts and graphs and all that good stuff. But Chainalysis attributed this growth to DeFi, which represented 37% of total transactions in North America between July 2021 and June 2021. The region's top exchange in that period is decentralized Uniswap, followed by centralized Coinbase and decentralized DYDX. So a couple things. First, are they including airdrops? I have to ask, are they including airdrops? Because in this time frame, a lot of airdrops happen on Uniswap. Airdrops, as we just know, happen on DYDX, where people are claiming up to like 100K of tokens. So first, do you include airdrops? Second thing is, how are you able to like tell from VPNs? Straight up, how are you able to tell from VPNs? Like, don't get it twisted. I'm sure some, yeah, I help contribute to the DeFi market. So, and especially in the United States. So just those numbers alone, they're kind of believable to me. I know I threw some money at DeFi this year. So, and I'm not a whale. Imagine if a whale did the same type of transaction stuff I'm doing. They're like, yeah, I'm throwing some zeros behind it. So I get what they're saying with the numbers. Like I get and believe that those are the percentages and the numbers they receive from these parts of the world. My only question is, did they factor in for airdrops and did they factor in for VPNs? Now, I haven't read the total report, but I'm going to kind of say they probably didn't, because if you factor in the VPN, I think that this whole argument would kind of, go in every different direction. And then you have to decide like how many users in the crypto space are using VPNs to even get an accurate number of reporting on that, right? You could say, hey, only 5% of people are using VPNs. We don't need to talk about it. Or is it 95% of people are using VPNs? We need to talk about it. But they go on to talk about how East Asia has lost its edge. Again, I don't think that's the case. If you're in China specifically, and you're one of those people who are not in a position to move, or you just don't want to move, you're not going to stop doing all things crypto just because they said it. You're going to use a VPN. If you're in East Asia and you're using a VPN and it's not in Asia, then that means Europe or North America or South America will start to get some of that buying power coming from those locations unknown. So that would be my only thought with these reports. Again, by and large, this is a good report to see. Again, into mining and all that. It's a good report to kind of track and trace where the crypto-friendly spots are at, what's going on in the markets. But again, those two things I just mentioned, the airdrop and VPN, would definitely throw all these numbers off. So I would keep that in mind. But again, it's pretty cool to see that these things are getting tracked. I mean, they're definitely getting tracked. Satoshi Slim, do you use a VPN every single time you do crypto? It depends on what I'm doing in crypto and how much. For like, say for a DeFi, for example, yes. Like if I'm using my primary wallets, it's always a yes. And then if I'm doing transactions over a certain amount, then it's usually a yes as well. Like the only time I really don't use it is like right now, I just want to look up a quick project. I'll probably look it up really quick. If it was something simple, or like if I was just using my regular browser, MetaMask, while I wouldn't care too much. But if I was like doing those type of transactions to where, hold on, like turn off the music, like turn the lights down low, let me focus on this because I don't want to accidentally like lose a lot of my money or value, then it's like, yeah, at that time, I'm throwing on VPNs, I'm throwing on Tors, I'm going on my other side of my computer, I'm doing all types of stuff. Rendell, like Denzel said, it'll probably be a flash crash and recover in an hour or two with the ETF. I can see that happen. Remember the Bitcoin crash of 2017 over futures? The point is, it may be the same thing in 2021 with ETFs. So yes and no. The only reason no is it's funny too. I talked to somebody about a meetup some weeks ago about futures and ETFs, and like when I tell you this guy, like he only have been in, and this is the part that's crazy. Guy got in crypto in 2021. He don't know who I am or whatever. It was somebody else's meetup. One of our crypto warriors invited me to in LA. So I'm just there, fly on the wall, listening to everybody talk, listening to all the experts. And this guy's talking, been in since 2021. He's talking about ETFs and Bitcoin futures and what happened and what it did. And like every 2 seconds, I couldn't help. I'm like, bro, like you spreading FUD. Like, what are you talking about? Like, nothing you're saying is factual. He's just way off on so many things. But he was talking about futures and what it did to Bitcoin and all of that, and Bitcoin crash specifically. Here's the thing about the futures. They started off shorting Bitcoin. A lot of people forget that. When you talk about futures, it wasn't like they started off going long. They started off shorting. SIBO or CME, we actually covered an article. Their CEO came out and said, we're going to tame Bitcoin. I remember seeing that. I didn't believe it. I was talking on the show. I was like, tame Bitcoin? You're not going to tame Bitcoin. But they did. It wasn't for long, but they did tame Bitcoin. So when those futures came out, essentially, they were trying to manipulate the price in a downward fashion. Whereas the ETFs, I don't think it's really trying to make the price go down as much as they're just trying to make sure the traditional market and Wall Street can make money to catch up, because with an ETF, they can catch up to the Bitcoin holdings, right? If it's just everybody buy Bitcoin, they cannot catch up. But if it's, hey, you all buy this paper, fake, funny money Bitcoin ETF, and we buy Bitcoin with the money you give us, then we can catch up. So that's what I'm kind of thinking will be the play there. Let's see. Chap, you might as well wait for the move to immutable exodus point before you change them. Michael Kennedy, I've tripled my investment in BV already. Crypto CAD, will the bank stop you from using your own money to purchase crypto, even if you don't need a VPN? I'm here in Barbados. I mean, that's right. They can stop you from purchasing anything. This is the reason why you should be offboarding your money from banks and fiat to cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin, as soon as possible, because you're right. I've actually thought about that too. I've thought about what happened if I wake up and they say, hey, your money in your account's not the same amount anymore, or we're freezing accounts because of a bank run. I've thought about the worst case scenarios, and that's also one of the things I thought about too. What if, as this thing is happening, the CBDC comes out, whatever, and they're like, hey, moving forward, all banking transfers to any crypto platforms are illegal. What if they do that, right? How would you get your money? First of all, Bitcoin is peer-to-peer. That's when you need to ignore that everybody's not a broker. It's a peer doing a transaction with another peer. It's not illegal. And then the second thing is, that's why you got a dollar cost average now. You got to keep moving your crypto over now, so if that day ever does happen, you're not stuck in the middle. Other than that, I want to give a shout out. I forgot to mention at the top of the show, but today's show sponsor is being sponsored by Earthfund.io. We'll be releasing this video for Earthfund.io right after the show, but they're a decentralized community building a better tomorrow, and they are our show sponsor for the day. So shout out to Earthfund.io. Crypto Warriors, you know what to do. I'll be releasing this video next 30 minutes or so. Hey, just like it, share it, comment on it, yay, nay. Do what you do. Make sure that video gets some numbers on it really quick. We truly appreciate that. And that can be your like text for the day. If I'll drop a couple more jewels for you tomorrow, if I see that's being done properly. Let's see, last couple of comments. Social credit score system. Someone said, I'm thinking about buying land in Mexico. And yeah, I mean, Alex is in Mexico too, one of our in-house warriors. So he'll have more on that as well. And thank you, last but not least, 4 minutes on the BB release. That is right. BB is about to release something else on their platforms. So check them out. And again, check out the Earthfund IO video that we will be releasing here in the next 30 minutes. So other than that, make sure you smash that like and share, and we will see you all tomorrow.